Good morning and welcome back to my garage workshop project. In a previous video, we did the concrete slab, DIY style. We can start designing a full plan. This is a single car garage and I want to turn it into a woodworking / makerspace workshop. I really need to bring everything in. There's my table saw still outside 1 month later. And there are my 2 existing workbenches. I want to try and make this as complete as possible. So stick around if you want to see the entire process from beginning to end, from measuring, planning, designing, everything in one video. Okay, so in this first step of the project, we want to be measuring and we want to be taking a lot of notes. So I'm going to go get my booklet with a pen. The bigger, the better really, so we could get as many details as possible. Start off with the floor, and then we're gonna do one wall, another wall, and then the ceiling. And I'm gonna try and use one paper for each one of those. 11'9". I'm getting 11'9" wall to wall. Let's just check with the laser, just to see how accurate. 11'9". So I'm getting exactly 11'9" wide. That's concrete to concrete. And I'm gonna mark this concrete to concrete because I really wanna make sure that I know that later on when we're designing. Like this, we won't make a mistake because in the design software or on paper, you'll be able to create your wall and know exactly how much room you actually have after creating your walls. So now we got 2406. All right, so now that we're done the floor plan, I'm gonna start taking measurements of this wall. I wanna make sure to take notes of any openings or obstructions. You know, currently we got our heater and our switch for the lights over here, but this doesn't really matter because I'm probably gonna be changing all of the electrical. Let's start measuring. I might come back after to get this measurement here in case I wanna put workbench or something above it, but for now I'm going to leave it as is because the heater, I'm pretty sure I want to put it on that side of the wall. So as you can see on this wall, I can have somewhat of a thin workbench, whereas this side I can't. I do not want to be blocking the garage door just in case we ever do want to bring a car in here. So for that matter, I will not be putting any cabinetry or any shelves on this side. It's all going to be going on this side where I have almost 2 feet. We'll look at that in the designing phase. I'm probably going to do this wall here now, and then I'm going to do the ceiling, and then I'll show you guys where we're at with the plans. So now that we have all of our measurements down, we could finally move to step number 2. A well thought out layout is key to creating a workshop that's functional, efficient, and tailored to your needs. The first and simplest method is to use masking tape to map out your layout directly on the floor. Measure the dimensions of your larger tools or furniture like your table saw, workbenches, miter saw, and use tape to outline their footprint. This method is great because it lets you visualize the space in real time and adjust pretty easily. It's a hands-on way to get a sense of your layout before committing to anything. Method number 2 of measuring and planning out your layout is using the 2D paper method, making sure that you have everything to the right ratio, whether it's 1 inch equals 1 foot or ½ inch equals 1 foot, and then you can cut out little pieces of paper to the right size of, let's say, your table saw, your miter saw. Measure everything you have and then start moving the pieces of paper around until you get something good. This is now done here, and we could finally move on to my favorite method of designing any room or anything for that matter. It is not on paper, it is on the computer. It's a free 3D software. Personally, I mean, I've been using it now for years. I'm not a professional, I'm just a DIYer that kind of learned SketchUp. Okay, so now that we're on app.sketchup.com, I'm just gonna go ahead and create new. And I'm probably gonna start with the floor plan first, and then start moving up with the walls. Okay, let's build out a rectangle, 24 feet, 6 inches. And you see now we got 11'9", and on this side I got 24'6", which is perfect, concrete to concrete. Double click everything and just create a group. So make group, and we're just gonna give it a gray color. And this one will be 51. And then we're gonna use R for rectangle, and we're gonna make our box be 20, 26. You can use the letter P to push pull, and I'm gonna do just like 1 millimeter, and we're gonna make a group. We can also create this to be black. And now what we can do for the floor layout is start creating the walls. I'm gonna start building out this wall. I know I have 91 inches. And so now we have the cinder blocks, and the beam comes out this way, all the way to the other side, making sure that it snaps onto that side. And that's just perfect. So that's our window. And another thing I need to do is the electrical panel. That is 10 inches thick. I just want to make sure you guys know that I'm no architect, I'm no interior designer. Like, I don't use SketchUp for my job or anything. I'm really just a DIYer, self-taught. I just love SketchUp because it's so easy to actually visualize something in 3D and plan everything. So that's why out of all the 3 methods I showed you guys today, this one is my favorite, building everything out in SketchUp. You guys can learn it too, very, very simple to learn. And if you don't believe me, I'll make you a bet. If you can't learn SketchUp in just 1 weekend, I'm gonna go out and buy this $4,000 dust collector because I've been eyeballing it all week. It's probably the nicest dust collector that I've seen. I'm kind of just trying to convince my wife that I really need this dust collector. I need it. I got all of these elements from 3D Warehouse. So what's really, really cool about this is that you could go in here and just type in table saw. There we go, look at this. So it's got an outfeed and assembly with the table saw. Amazing, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Here we got with the router insert, which I think I'm gonna end up doing because it's just wasted space. I do have a router, I bought it secondhand, and it's just collecting dust under the cabinets. So why not install it here beside it? I think that would probably make me wanna use it a little more. It's 30 by 60. I wanna have a 4x6 outfeed table that also doubles as an assembly table. So for a lot of people, the table saw is gonna be their primary tool, or I guess the one that's centered. I would center it, but I'm gonna keep it off-center to maximize on space. I still don't know exactly what I wanna do with this area. I just know that I wanna have my table saw kind of close to the entrance of the garage. I know that I wanna have at least, here, let's take a look from the side. I know I wanna have at least from the beginning of the blade to the door. Yeah, that won't really work. Ideally, I don't want to have to open the garage door just to cut an 8-foot long piece of wood. So I'm gonna move this another 1.5 feet. So I'm gonna grab both of these and I'm gonna move it 1 foot. So that actually might be perfect. And if ever I need to rip something that's, 9 or 10 or 12 feet long, I just open the garage door. Thank you, Edward, for designing such an awesome table. So 4x6, which is perfect. Pretty sure that's the right size I want to have. These are my current workbenches. And really I have 2 options. But instead of showing you every change I made, I'll fast forward a little. It's just a lot of me trying things, moving stuff around and just staring at it. Watching me drag things back and forth in real time isn't exactly the most exciting part of the process, so let's speed things up and get to the good stuff. For those of you who don't quite get my sense of humor or how I edited this video, let me break it down real quick. I am here in real time, but the screen in front of me is masked off and fast forwarded. So no, that's not a pre-recorded clip playing on my monitor. It's literally hours of me being filmed and then just masking off the screen. If you're still confused, let's try something new. This is real time. This is fast forwarded. Real time, fast forwarded. Probably not the most realistic in size or whatever, I definitely don't need a 3 horsepower. I really don't need a Harvey G700. I'm just playing around, you know, because I don't know what I'm gonna buy. I just know 100% not setting up my garage without dust collector. And I really suck with wearing masks. Like I try if I'm sanding or whatever, but hopefully in the near future, I won't need to wear a mask in my shop. Like I just want that shop to be clean. I don't want to have what I used to have, which was my table saw. God damn, it's full of freaking wood chips in there. No dust collection, just complete accumulation of dust and wood chips. I'm not doing that again. I know that for sure. So dust collector, 100%. Which one, I'm not sure. Ideally, the one that takes up the least amount of space. Right now, I just need to see where I'm putting things, and then maybe in a few weeks, I'll decide really which one I want to get. Because I know that dust collectors, as soon as they get to, I think, 2 horsepower, that's when you jump into the 20 amp circuit at 220 volt. So I believe this one here and this one here both would require 220 volt. And that's why I don't really feel like taking the risk with not planning ahead. So this is currently the laser cutter I have. It's the Falcon 2 Pro. But I'm already looking into upgrading it to something a lot bigger and stronger that could cut more things, engrave more things. This is definitely overkill. One thing I did forget to do before messing around with all these tools and stuff, I forgot to start closing up the walls. So one thing's for sure, because this is an exterior wall, so this one and this one here. We're in Canada, this is a basement, so what I'm gonna have to do now is just add here that they're 2 inches thick. So I'm just gonna grab this and write make component. This is rigid, and now what I can do is just move it and copy paste it. The old walls were just 1x4s behind the drywall, and honestly they weren't the strongest. Putting up shelves always felt a little sketchy, so this time around, I'm upgrading to 2x3s or 2x4s. So even if I do just go with 2x3s, they're still a lot thicker and a lot stronger than 1x4s and give me more to work with when mounting things. At first, I did design this to have horizontal 2x4s, and later on, speaking with my best friend ChatGPT, having them vertically would be stronger in case I ever needed to mount something heavy. So I did end up modifying my plans to be a vertical 2x3s. We'll get to that a little later. For the wall panels, I've been debating between plywood and OSB, but OSB is a lot cheaper and it's got that shop vibe I'm kind of looking for. I will be modifying the OSB so it doesn't look like a shed or a ghetto kind of environment. I do want this place to look finished but not cost me, you know, $100 a sheet. I'm definitely not putting drywall, so OSB is the better upgrade, I believe. So as you can see here, I found a lot of inspiration on Pinterest, and I really like this look here. It's got the nice OSB, it's got these beautiful LED lights at the bottom. I'm not sure if I'm going to that extent to make it that pretty. You know, it is in the end just the garage workshop that I will be in. It could be cool, it could be really cool, it could be really nice. But yeah, you know, just looking at this here, these walls will be a huge upgrade. For the ceiling, I'm thinking maybe carrying on this black accent and maybe painting and installing OSB as well for the ceiling. Maybe the ceiling could be all black OSB and probably just add some shop lights. Ideally, I want to have a lot of lighting in here because if I am going to film in here for future YouTube videos, I need to have really good lighting. I also want to have enough switches for all the lighting so I could kind of turn off or turn on individual lights as well. All right, so it's been about 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe since I last touched the SketchUp design, and there's a lot of things that changed. Not too many, but definitely a few things that I'd like to discuss. First of all, this is kind of how I left the design with few minor tweaks. And this is where we're at today. A couple of changes here. I ended up bringing the OSB all the way down to the floor. And I also, if I hide this, I also made the 2x3s be vertical. I will be using Tapcon screws, probably 5 or 6 inch, to screw it into the concrete. Another thing I did is just paint the stripe black, kind of like that Pinterest inspiration I liked. I also painted the ceiling black and I installed these lights. These are just 4-foot, kind of like 4-foot shop lights. They're like this. I think they'll be strong enough. I'm actually worried they'll be too strong. I found a dust collector for sale on Marketplace. So it's secondhand from a woodworker that's quite far away from me. He lives about 3 hours away. I'm still not 100% sure if I'm gonna go get it, but all in all, it's about 850 or 900 bucks I got him down to. It's a Craftex 2 horsepower motor. It's got a Craftex Cyclone. It's got the drum. He built a little cart for it. He also upgraded the filter canister to a HEPA filter canister. So it really checks off all of the boxes I have for dust collector. Another thing I did here is, so the lights, let me hide the OSB for a second. I'm thinking of having 4 lights here on the front half, probably one switch for these 4 lights in the back and another switch for these 4 lights in the front. I did not work on any of this part here, which is all of the cabinets, I guess you could say, the cabinets and the bench. This is my current bench, but I don't really like that current bench I have now. So I'm probably gonna end up building some drawers or a bench that has drawers and some cabinets, probably very similar to what Whitworks did. I really like this. I really like the plywood. So I might go and build something similar to this. Anyways, there's a lot of room in this layout I currently have. The laser engraver / cutter is back here because I need to vent it out, and that's probably where I'll be venting it out. I got a hole here and I'll probably create a pipe, insulated pipe that goes all the way to the 3D printer. Sorry, laser engraver. Currently I have the 3D printer in the basement, but if ever I wanna, 3D print something made of ABS or something a little more toxic, I'm not a fan of having it in the house. And so for that reason, I'd like to move it to the shop. This is the view empty with no tools, no workbenches, no machines. And I did all of the electrical. So the electrical panel is behind this door, and I'm gonna run everything in conduit. It's probably gonna be 3/4 inch conduit. I'm gonna run one conduit 3/4 inch for all of my regular 110 volt power, which is gonna run 2 different circuits of 20 amp breakers. They will be regular plugs, so I'm gonna have them come this way all the way here. And this might change, honestly. I might end up modifying this to be counter height, especially if my plan is to have this mounted counter height. This plug here is the one for the dust collector. Over here, I'm definitely gonna bring these plugs lower down so they're not high and in the way. I want these to be low. I also want to have the 2 same circuits come this way, and I'm going to try and make it so one plug on the left is one circuit and one plug on the right is a different circuit. So if ever I am using 2 machines or 2 tools on the same plugs here, I could plug them in the different one. This here on the right, this black box is currently white. I don't know why I made it black, probably just for the future style of the garage, but currently this is a white heater. So my garage, I need heat. I live in Canada, it's cold, and that will be my heater. Going on to the other side, I didn't find another way to get these plugs, so I'm gonna have to pass the conduit up from here, and that's gonna go up this way, all the way to this side. So this is where the plugs are gonna go for this side. And it's gonna be the same 2 circuits. I know I'm gonna have a workbench here that's gonna be at that height, so I want these plugs to be higher up. Looking at the ceiling here, I have my lights again with the black painted OSB panels. I'm not 100% sure about my lighting situation. I know I wanna make YouTube videos in here, so I do wanna have a bit more control about the lighting. And that's why I installed switches for each individual light. So for that, I'm gonna have 2 switches. First switch is gonna illuminate the first half, and the second switch is gonna turn on the second half. But for a few situations where I might need to turn a few lights off, I will have that possibility. I don't know if maybe in one shot or in one scene I want to illuminate one tool only, or maybe I want the background to be a bit darker. I didn't really put too much time into the specifics of the garage because I want to use my garage, I want to use my workshop a little bit more before deciding, you know, which tools go where and what I'll be doing in the garage. I feel like, you know, it varies month to month what I'm working on. If you guys want to learn SketchUp and you really want to see me go into the nitty-gritty of actually building something in SketchUp, I also have a video on how to use SketchUp, so you can check that video out right here. And obviously, if you do want to see the entire process on the garage build, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because in the next video, we'll be looking at insulating the garage. We're going to be doing spray foam. We'll be drilling 150 Tapcon screws into concrete. We'll be doing OSB panel installation. So if you want to see and follow along in this whole construction build, make sure to click that video. See you soon. Still here? Come on, get out of here.